Guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Mama Ming here. I haven't vlogged in this channel for a while, but today is an interesting day because we're taking the glucose screener test during my second viable pregnancy. I'm currently 25 weeks pregnant. That's like 6 months. Here is my bump. So a lot of people ask me like what glucose test is. This is one test I'm personally always nervous about as well. So I was thinking maybe I can take you guys with me today to take the glucose test, how I prepare for the test. If you don't know what it is, usually during the second trimester of your pregnancy, usually between the week of 24, 23 weeks to the week of 28 weeks, that right before your third trimester, you're going to take a glucose screener test. So what happens is that they ask you to drink a Coca-Cola drink with a certain amount of glucose, which is basically sugar. And they draw your blood after 1 hour. It's a screener test, not a diagnosed test. So if you fail the test, if your number is out of the limits, they will ask you to do a further 3-hour test where you go to the hospital, drink that, and you stay there for 3 hours until they draw your blood. So I'm very nervous because I don't want to take the 3-hour test. And another thing is there are different risk factors that could increase the risk of you having gestational diabetes. Those risk factors include if your family had diabetes or gestational diabetes in the past, if you had gestational diabetes in the past, and certain demographic factors like if you are Asian, Hispanic, or African American, you're more at risk of gestational diabetes. I think part of it is probably genetics, how certain people from different ancestors process sugar, especially during the pregnancy. I personally know a lot of my Asian friends who were diagnosed with gestational diabetes. They were not overweight, they were healthy before their pregnancy, and they were diagnosed with gestational diabetes in one or all of their pregnancies, which is very scary to me because I'm Asian. My grandma had diabetes and I did a genetic test. I did have increased risk of type 2 diabetes. Right, so I am about 40 minutes before the doctor's office. I am going to eat some breakfast. So I'm gonna be eating some breakfast, and how your body processes sugar is if there's like some protein and fat in my system, it's gonna help me to process the sugar a little bit. I actually asked around for doctors and I looked into research. Apparently it's like a thing that a lot of OBGYNs themselves do, but there's no research backing about it. But last pregnancy, I did my test, but after I ate scrambled eggs with avocado, I passed my gestational test with flying colors. My glucose level after drinking that Coca-Cola drink after 1 hour went back to the fasting level at 80, which is very good. But this pregnancy is very different. My cravings are different. Last pregnancy, I didn't crave for any sugar. I actually hated the sugar. This pregnancy, I actually crave for more sugar and carbs, so I'm a little bit more worried. My diet has been different this pregnancy versus the last one. Okay, and get some golden eggs in there because eggs these days are so expensive. I'm actually really hungry right now, which helps. I didn't eat breakfast this morning before I went to work. I am a college lecturer, so I worked from 8 to 10 o'clock after class. I just came home to eat breakfast. All right, guys, breakfast is ready. This is some scrambled eggs with avocado with some seafood salad. The seafood salad is basically imitation crab with like mayonnaise and some other stuff. High fat with a little bit of carbs actually. So it looks so good. Let's dig in. Breakfast. Guys, we're here eating breakfast. I just also want to say that in the past, before like I take like glucose tests or fasting glucose tests or other tests, I talked to the doctors and nurses about it. They also said that if you worry about the numbers the day before, don't eat a super carb heavy meal. So I think one time I ate like a lot of pizza the day before my fasting glucose. My fasting glucose was kind of higher than usual, but in the long term it shouldn't actually matter because your A1C is still kind of stable, but we'll see. Yum. Cheers. Cheers. I'll see you in the doctor's office. Here is the drink. 50 glucose tolerance test. Okay, orange flavor, my favorite. Let's go. Hey guys, we're in the hospital. I'm in the doctor's office. I'm waiting for 1 exact hour since I drank the drink, since I completely finished the drink, and it was nasty. It didn't taste good. It was super sweet, and my baby is going like bananas because I just drank some super sugary drinks. So I'm gonna do some work here. One hack is bring your work, bring your computer or entertainment, because you're gonna hang out here for an hour and they're gonna draw my blood. So wish me luck. Hey guys, I am back from the blood draw. So it takes about usually 1 day to get a result. I think last time I did this test, I think I got the result on the same day, but like towards very late in the evening, like 6 or 7 p.m. I don't know, lab workers, they work 24/7 or something. I passed last time at 80, which is a very good number, and my doctor was very impressed. But this time I'm not so sure because my eating habit hasn't been great. Here are several of the things that I did last time that really helped me to prevent gestational diabetes. The first one was that I tried to take a walk after every single meal, even if it's just for 10-15 minutes. You can just get the time. The second thing is I didn't really eat much like sugary dessert. The third thing was I was really eating a lot of protein and fat for my daily meals. Like my carb intake and overall like sugar intake was kind of low. And lastly was I did exercise about 4 to 5 days a week. This pregnancy is different because I work more. I have a toddler. I don't have the time to walk all the time, especially at night. Sometimes I come home really late after work, so I don't always have the time to take a walk after each meal. That is the main difference. Is I used to walk way more than now. I still exercise, but I also have more cravings for like sugary items, which is potentially problematic. And I also feel like I'm gaining weight a little bit faster this time. So I'm very nervous. So I'll update you guys once I get the result. It's a different day. I got my result back and it's good. So when did I get my result back? I did not report the same day because when I got my result back, it was kind of late. I got my test around 1 o'clock. So I started my test at 12 o'clock and after 1 hour, my blood draw was at 1:05 p.m. of the day. And I was like anxiously looking at my chart and I did get my results at like around 9 p.m. So about 8 hours later, I got my blood lab result, which is pretty good. The lab workers, they work all the time. So kudos to them, thanks to them. I did pass the glucose screener exam. I do not have to do the 3-hour test. Yes! So now I want to talk a little bit about other factors that may influence the results, because honestly, my result this time is not as good as that last time. So basically, they gave you a qualitative result, but also a quantitative result. The qualitative result, they will tell you if you passed or not. The quantitative result, they will give you the number. So different hospital or different doctor's office, they actually have different threshold. The literature actually usually traditionally set the threshold at 140, but some offices, some doctors, they actually put the threshold at 130, which means if your result is over 130, then you have to do the 3-hour compared to if your result is over 140, because they want to be a little bit conservative in terms of who do they want to retest for the 3-hour test. So I did pass the threshold of 130, but this time my result, my blood numbers is not as good as last pregnancy. But here are some of the reasons why it wasn't as low. So the first thing is when I actually took the exam, I don't know if you could tell, I actually was having a active sinus infection. So if you look at my CBC count, my complete blood count, my white blood cell was very over the board high. I did have an active infection that I was actively fighting. My immune system was high. So when you are going through a active infection, whether it's viral or bacterial, like it does increase the stress hormone level levels, the cortisols and other things to increase your blood sugar, and it does like use these hormones to like immune system reaction to fight off the infection, which could actually, research has proven that significantly increase your blood glucose level. So if you have any labs done glucose level draw during your active infection, you could have an elevated glucose level due to the infection, due to your immune response. The second thing that affected blood draw was that I actually only slept for 4 hours the night before, because in the past, during my first pregnancy, I taught a online course at a university, and I only teach like some yoga classes in the evenings. But this time I was actively teaching in-person classes in the morning, and the night before, because of my sinus infection, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't fall asleep because my nose was so congested. Every time I laid down, it just became so congested. So I actually didn't really sleep until like about 2 a.m. and finally I fell asleep, and I woke up multiple times in between, and I woke up around 6 a.m. So I only slept for 4 sleep hours during that night before, and significantly reduction of your sleep the night before will also affect your glucose level the next day. So that was the second factor that actually affected the results of that blood draw that day. The third affected overall the glucose, like maybe the true results that I would get if without infection, without the sleep deprivation, I will have a little bit even lower results. But I would say that this pregnancy, my diet includes way more carbs than protein, and I haven't been consistent of taking a walk after each meal. I truly believe that in my first pregnancy, my glucose level was so good was due to two main factors. The first factor was that I had huge cravings for protein in my first pregnancy, and I just didn't really want to eat any dessert. I just hated them, which helped conveniently, but I was conscientiously avoiding high carb items. So in my first pregnancy, I would eat high fat, high protein item. I did gain a lot of weight, but most of the weight came from protein and fat. This pregnancy, I've been eating way more starchy items, rice and potatoes, which could, having a higher carb intake could actually increase your overall A1C level. It could always react to your fasting glucose level or your glucose level in general. The second thing that I felt like the lifestyle factor was that in my first pregnancy, since I didn't have any babies back then, every time after each meal, I would go for like a 20-minute walk. I feel like this pregnancy, since I have like a toddler, it's just sometimes very hard to take a walk after the meal because I need to watch my toddler. If you didn't know, my husband has a very demanding job, and sometimes he comes home around like 9 p.m., 10 p.m. He also goes to bowling league and sometimes go out of town. So because of these factors, I cannot take a walk in the evenings. I would teach yoga from 6 to 9, and after I pick up the kid from my mother-in-law, I will watch the kid until like my husband is home like super late, and by the time he's home, it's just too late for me to walk. I have to go to bed because I have to teach work in the morning. So I think having super late night dinner plus not taking a walk after each meal definitely affected how my body processed glucose and sugar, definitely affected my overall glucose health. But I think these things could be easily mitigated if you have other family partners who could support you, or if your husband has like a traditional 8 to 5 job, or if in any other cases, like if you can push your baby, your toddler on a stroller to go for a walk. But my little crazy close to 2 years old toddler has been a little bit difficult with his sleep time too, and I just also don't feel safe to push a baby in a stroller around 10:30 p.m. even though I live in a pretty safe neighborhood, but you never know. So these are the factors that I feel like did influence the number that this time. But with that being said, I did pass the test. So remember, the 1-hour test is just a screener to see if you actually look at the 3-hour body like reactions to glucose. So a lot of my friends who failed their first 1 hour test did pass the 3 hour test. So if you failed the 1 hour, it doesn't mean that you have gestational diabetes. It's just a screener. It's not a diagnosed test. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I hope this information could be helpful to you in terms of what to expect in terms of taking this gestational diabetes screener test, and then what are the factors that may influence you in terms of passing or failing the test. And the third thing is like how I prepared it. So I hope this information can be helpful. If you found it helpful, please comment down below and give this video a thumbs up, share with your friends, and also make sure you subscribe and ring the notification bell, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!